Dallas.
David's family and friends continue to believe that he was abducted.
David Lewis disappeared.
On January 28, 1993, David Lewis's wife Karen Garrett and daughter Lauren left their home in Amarillo, Texas, to visit Dallas for a shopping weekend. 3 days later, at 11:15 p.m., they returned from their trip, but couldn't find David. Soon, they began to notice strange things around the house. David's wedding ring and watch were on the counter, and a load of laundry was in the dryer. They already knew he wanted to stay home that weekend because his favorite football team, the Dallas Cowboys, would be playing in the Super Bowl, and David was excited to watch that game.
The fans are going wild, and the show is about to begin. Welcome, everybody, to Bud Bowl 5.
They noticed the lights and television were on, and the VCR was still recording the football game. They also found 2 turkey sandwiches in the refrigerator, presumably prepared by David, and still, David was nowhere to be found. As Karen assumed he might have worked late or watched the game elsewhere, she didn't file a missing persons report until the next day. Before the incident, David had left his work at the Buckner, Lara & Swindle law practice after saying he wasn't feeling well. But his credit card revealed a charge made at a gas station later that afternoon. Also, he reportedly taught a class that night, which ended at 10 p.m. During the fateful weekend, a friend from church saw him frantically rushing through a Southwest Airlines terminal, but he appeared to have no luggage with him. David returned home at some point, as the neighbors reported seeing his vehicle parked in the driveway that weekend. On February 1st, Karen learned that David had missed 2 appointments, which was out of character for him. When she failed to find him, she reported him missing. Early in the investigation into David's disappearance, police learned he had purchased 2 plane tickets before he went missing. The first ticket was bought on January 31st and was from Dallas to Amarillo. The second ticket was purchased the next day, and this one would take him from Los Angeles to Dallas. Another detail the police discovered was that $5,000 had been deposited into the Lewis family's bank account on January 30th. But they couldn't determine who made the deposit. Later, police found David's vehicle parked by the courthouse. His driver's license, credit cards, and checkbook were all found inside, while his keys were under the floor mat. Further into the investigation, a cab driver came forward to say that he had picked up a man strongly resembling David on February 1st and drove him to the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. He stated that the man seemed nervous and paid in cash from a bundle of $100 bills he had with him. On February 1st at around 11:30 p.m., a motorist on State Route 24 in Yakima County, Washington, witnessed a disoriented man hitchhiking on the side of the road. He decided to make a U-turn and go back to check on the man, but when he got there, the man was lying motionless on the side of the road. Soon, a Chevy Camaro was witnessed leaving the scene, but the driver couldn't identify it. Later, the police identified the dead man as 39-year-old David Glenn Lewis. After investigating, the police found no signs of drugs or alcohol in David's system when he died, so his death was concluded to be an accident. David's family and friends continue to believe that he was abducted and that he would never have chosen to leave them behind. They don't believe that he was suicidal either. At the time of his disappearance, David was a defendant in a conflict of interest lawsuit that had been brought against him and several other attorneys. Some have theorized that he may have been involved in something he shouldn't have been, so he was afraid to get exposed, while others raised the possibility of David having an illness that caused confusion about one's own identity. There's no final answer for David Lewis's disappearance or death, and his case continues to defy explanation.